and welcome to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Bend Show. I am your host, Rebecca Wanner, aka Beck, and like we say each and every week, get a hold of us anytime. You can call or text 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or you can always email bendradioshow@gmail.com. And right along, as always, is my producer and co-host, Jeff Tigger Erhardt. Now, if you've been following along with us the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the dogs. We've been talking about, in particular, cattle dogs in a way, or just even how would I put this, Tigger? The beginning.
Getting a handle.
Getting a handle.
Put a handle on them.
The beginning training of working with your pup, getting them to recognize, respect you. Well, now we're going to turn the page and we're going to be looking at hunting dogs. Pheasant hunting is something that we love to do in our family, right, Tigger?
Mm-hmm.
We spend a lot of time every October going pheasant hunting.
And I know nothing about hunting dogs.
Right, that's new to you.
So new to me.
Very new to you. You have always had border collies or cattle dogs for the most part.
Yep.
I have grown up with hunting dogs. My family used to raise golden retrievers, and then I used to have a Labrador. However, it's been a really long time since I've actually had to work with a young pup. I got to admit, I am really, I don't even know where to start.
You're rusty.
I am rusty.
Like your hunting shots.
Ouch! Okay, I cannot believe you just went there.
We have to throw clay pigeons. Anyhow.
All right. Well, regardless, Tigger, you took a look at our professional trainers list / friends, and you knew just who to call.
Okay, so here's the dealio. I reached out to Mark Vanzi. Now, that name should sound familiar because we hear from Mark each and every week on the Ranch It Up radio show, the other one. And, it's interesting how so many of us have two different worlds. So for you and I, we've got the cattle and the ranching and the horses and the rodeo. And then on the flip side, it's the outdoors that we're nuts about, right? The hunting and fishing and everything, hiking outdoors. Now, for Mark Vanzi, it's exactly the same way. And he owns and operates Drake Creek Kennels, specializing in professional retriever training services. And as I said, I know what I don't know. And training a hunting dog, it is so out of my wheelhouse. Is it, and you got to kind of talk border collie to me a little bit, is it instinctive in those hunting breeds that they will naturally just kind of do their thing as you're starting to see the progression if this dog will make an effective hunting dog?
We always take hunting dogs and we cut them into two big buckets, right? Like you're either a retriever, so a Labrador, a Chesapeake, a Golden, a flat coat, and a handful of other breeds. So you're a retrieving hunting dog and you think duck hunting, goose hunting, waterfowl, stuff like that. Or you're an upland dog, which puts you in like the pointers category. So English pointers, German short hairs, Vizslas, Weimaraners, things like that. These versatile breeds, German wire hairs. But with all of them, like what all we are doing, from border collies to cattle to horses and everything, right? Like it's all selective breeding. It's all selective breeding and trying to pass down those genetics. So yeah, absolutely. That's, I run field trials like all summer long. This is about my only weekend off from running them. And just like the stock dog competitions and every AQHA performance horse deal you've ever been to, like it's all the same thing. Let's have a competition to find out who the best is. All right. And then we'll breed that generation. We'll breed the best of the winners with other winners, and they should pass on those properties to their offspring. And yes, you can absolutely see it. I have 9-month-old puppies out at my place, and we're getting them on duck wings or pheasant wings. And like I say, I train retrievers, so they'll be retrieving socks when they can't hardly walk up the stairs, but you can throw a gym sock for them and they'll pick it up and bring it back to you, and I'm not big on the pointer side of it, but I have friends that are, and you can see them, they'll, pretty common thing is put a pheasant wing on the end of a fishing rod and dance it around out in the yard and watch that puppy follow it. And when they pause the wing moving it, that puppy will go into a point right there in their backyard. I mean,
I'll be darned. That is the neatest trick. So literally you set a pheasant wing, put it on a fishing pole, and you zing it out there. Is that what you do?
Well, yeah, like eventually. But I mean, just imagine a little puppy.
Okay, little puppy. We're talking. All right.
Yeah, 4 months old, right? So you're trying to increase their prey drive by getting them just interested in this. And of course, they're a little puppy. They think it's alive. It's on a fishing line, and you're dancing with it in the yard and getting them to kind of chase it and move it. But then for those pointer guys, yeah, they stop just like the bird was at there. And those little German short hair puppies will point that wing from like 2 foot away in the backyard. And it's pretty cool to see that at that age already, mom and dad have passed down, when this thing moves or stops, you stop, point it, look at it, don't chase it anymore. You only move if it's moving,
So does it get a little tricky? And I'm probably making this harder than it needs to be. It seems like all of us do this, especially if we're into, working with livestock and training dogs. And I always say on the Border Collie dog, working with them, it's the easiest darn thing to put a handle on them. In fact, I can do it in about 15 minutes and we're done. So I'm probably making this harder than it needs to be. But if we're talking hunting pheasants and grouse up in our country, is it difficult to get a dog where they will stop and point, and then you harvest said bird, and then they go in after the bird? Is that hard for them to learn those steps of progression, or is that still also something that comes to them very natural from, like you said, selective breeding?
No, that's a completely trained response. So we would call that steady to wing and shot. Right. So the initial point will come naturally. And that's something that you're still going to want to polish what mom and dad gave them there. But once they've got them pointing, okay, like that's step one. Now to get them to be steady to wing, so on the flush and then on the shot, is a whole different ball of wax, because that's not natural. Because when the bird flushes, it's moving again, and their instincts say, if this bird's moving, I can follow it.
Right.
So you got to teach them to be steady as the bird flushes and the shot's taken. And those pointing breeds are not natural retrievers whatsoever. And so if you then want to harvest the bird and then tell your dog, okay, and actually send them to retrieve it like a retriever would, pick it up and come back into you, then that's a whole other ball of wax, especially with the pointing breeds. Like it is to get a pointer to retrieve, and then especially to do it properly, to deliver the bird to hand, not lay it on your feet, come into a nice heel position and sit there head up holding the bird until you take it out of its mouth. That's a lot of training to get them to that level. That's pointing dogs that can do that is what we would classify as like an AKC master pointer.
This one isn't over yet. When we come back, Mark has some advice for those of us wanting to have a good hunting dog, but don't know how to go about training one or working with one.
That would be me.
Stay with us. We will have more of The Bend when we come back.
Is there that particular pair of boots or that shirt or pair of jeans that you just can't find anywhere else? Check out Medora Boot and Western Wear. Medora Boot and Western Wear is the go-to for boots, jeans, especially jackets, and even those hard-to-find accessories that make perfect gifts. Check out medoraboot.com, or better yet, give Kim a call at 701-623-1005 and tell Kim that Tigger and BEC sent you. For the latest in Western and outdoor practical and fashionable wear, there is only one, Medora Boot and Western Wear.
Hey, this is Michelle Miller, otherwise known as the Farm Babe. I would like to personally invite you to the world's first floating farm cruise. Yes, a cruise in the tropics geared directly to farmers and ranchers. Join me and the rest of my crew January 29th through February 2nd, 2026, as we depart from Galveston, Texas, and make our way to Cozumel. Exclusive farm tours, networking, contests and entertainment, speakers, and a whole lot more on the farm cruise. Head to thefarmcruise.com and book your spot today.
You've waited, dreamt of a hunting adventure, and now have harvested that trophy of a lifetime. Keep the memory alive with a custom-designed mount, preserved as a work of art. Check out our approved taxidermist depending on your location. The award-winning Schneider Taxidermy is located in Helena, Montana. When hunting the Dakotas, JB's Wildlife Designs in Mandan, North Dakota. Then Shadron Creek Taxidermy in Nebraska. And for the Central USA, Little Rack Taxidermy in Macomb, Illinois. Reach out to The Ben Show and let us help you find the right taxidermist. Welcome back to The Ben Show, your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle. We have been going down this road of dogs, training dogs, putting a handle on dogs for the past few weeks. In case you missed the past couple episodes, you can find them all on thebendshow.com under past episodes. Pheasant hunting is big with our family, like we mentioned earlier, and our crew, we are in need of a good hunting dog. Option number 1, just buy one. Option number 2, train one. Mark Vanzi with Drake Creek Kennels has some great advice because I'm sure we are not alone in the quest for a good hunting dog.
We have had different hunters at our place, as you know, each and every fall, and we've had some that have come out with some awfully darn good dogs. And in where we're at, you have to have a dog to hunt it. An army of 50 guys cannot hunt our ground properly because we have so much water, so many cattails. It's just, it's really, it's fantastic pheasant hunting, but it's very difficult if you do not have a good dog. And I mean, we will wear out one of their really good dogs from, sun up till noon. And I mean, just a few hours, and we'll wear that dude out because of the amount of ground that we have to go to. But, and that's where I aspire to have said dog with us to be able, because there's going to be a lot of hunters that come in where they don't have their own dog. So we, Beck and I really need to step up our game and to be able to provide that tool for them.
Sure. No, that's, and there's plenty of folks that can help with that. Like if you guys don't have one, like I say, I'm not a bird dog trainer. Bird dog is upland, right? I'm not a bird dog trainer, but if there's plenty of resources if you ever want to get a dog to that level. You can always seek out the help and services of a professional trainer on the gun dog side or on the retriever side. Like there's lots of us that do it. But if you're and you're a dog trainer, right? If you decide that it's something that you want to do, that's probably the coolest thing anymore, is at least specifically on the retriever side of it. There is like a wealth of information on how to do it today. It's almost information overload. You've just got to kind of seek it out, right? So if you want to do it, for anybody that wants to do it themselves, my advice is always find your local club. So you will have, you get to looking, you will have AKC pointing dog clubs, and you'll have AKC and HRC retriever clubs. And you can join these clubs, and that's what it is. It's all gun dog or retriever enthusiasts with their own dogs, and the club will be made up of old timers like me, who've been doing it for years. And a lot of times the club will have their own training grounds, or they'll lease a piece of ground from the state or something like that to train on. And they'll have club training days where the whole club can come out and get together and basically practice. And the point of that is really so that the new guy can meet all the old guys, and you just start networking. And those guys will obviously help you and teach you in person what you need to know and what you don't know. But it's like what I'm doing all the time. If I can't help you with everything, and we're not going to have a training day every night, and you want to work with this dog 10, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, something like that, you're going to want to do stuff on your own. So the old timers in your club will point you in the direction of outside resources. So I'm talking about, well, you should sign up for the retrievertrainer.com. It's $12 a month, and it's a full online training program, step by step, to take your dog through. Or, it is what it is. People still got old DVDs floating around from trainers from years ago, and they'll give you the books and the DVDs and
I can't believe we're saying DVDs
stuff
from years ago. I can't believe we're saying
I know.
What I think is important, and I've had people ask me this on the stock dog deal, and they will say, well, what do you do when your dog isn't working? Because that's the reward. You know, when our stock dogs get the stock, the sheep or the cattle, that's the reward. That's the fun stuff, right? But that is such a small period of time in their life. It may be for just 2 minutes working cattle here, or whatever the case is. So people have asked me, what do you do in the downtime? And I think it's extremely important, dogs and horses the same way, that, you know, an adult dog, you're dealing with kind of almost the mentality of a 5-year-old child. So I think it's so important that those dogs have playtime, that you release them. You know, in fact, our command for our dogs when they're not on stock is go play. And that means the gloves are off. Go do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to run in the trees and you want to go play in the creek, go do it. You're on your time. I think that is very important for all those different dogs to be able to do that, so they don't get sour maybe on because during the training process, and I'm using stock here for example, sometimes we let our dogs have the stock and sometimes they don't, because we're teaching them different situations or scenarios. So do you agree with that, Mark, that it's important that it doesn't matter what kind of dog that you have, especially if it's a working dog that has a job, it's important to release them from that job, just like us, and they need their downtime to just go lose their mind and run around and just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We say it all the time. We always say you got to let a dog do dog stuff, right? And same deal. My dogs, if like I'm training in the summertime for a whole bunch of clients. So my dogs will get to work, which just like yours, that's the reward. The work is the reward. They'll get to do that 6 days a week. But we normally don't train on Sundays. And so we'll go out and we'll road them a lot. I don't know if that's very big on the stock dog deal, but on retrievers and pointers, guys will road them.
What do you mean by road them?
There's kind of different ways to do it, but it really amounts to get on your UTV or your 4-wheeler and just run them through a pasture.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
let them run for free, you know, so they're getting exercise and they're getting play. I just let them all bail out the back of the airing yard and get on the Ranger and start driving, you know, and we go down by the pond and through the creek and just let them run and goof off and have fun that way, you know.
Mark Vanzi with Drake Creek Kennels. Thanks so much for the time. You can check out Mark and his services at drakecreekkennels.com and be sure to follow them on Facebook. So after everything we've heard and talking cattle dogs versus hunting dogs the last couple of episodes, I got to say, it doesn't seem like there's that big of a difference when it comes to training.
But I've still never worked with a hunting dog. Not just trained, but I've never worked with one. So Mark had some final words of advice for me. He said, you know what? If you're going to go out and buy a pup, he said, make sure that you go to a really good breeder that has a really good litter. So start with a really, really good one if you want to train them yourself. I still don't think I'm at that level. So, but if we would, here's my advice for me, or I should say us, is that I really need to work with an experienced trainer, not just go out on my own and go, oh, okay, this is kind of how we should do it. I think I should start with a really experienced trainer that can teach me how to work with the dog, especially when it comes to if you're working with a really good finished dog.
I can agree with that.
That's just my thoughts. We'll have to talk about it more.
I know we'll have to talk about it off air some more, but I am in favor of what you said. Get out in the field and learn from those. And you know what I've found over the years, Tigger, and you and I have both said this. A lot of times people are willing to share the knowledge.
Oh, yeah,
just
everybody's
ask.
willing to help. Very willing to help.
All right, we're going to take a short break, crew. When we come back, we've got more of The Ben Show.
The hunt, the stories, the memories. This is Jake Fenrick with JB's Wildlife Designs. Let me capture and preserve that hunt, that story, that memory with a trophy mount to last you a lifetime. Look us up on Facebook at JB's Wildlife Designs to see samples of our taxidermy and reach out at any time with any and all questions you may have. This is Jake Fenrick with JB's Wildlife Designs. Taxidermy is my passion. Let me preserve yours.
Hey guys and gals, this is John Arman with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV travels the back roads to the backwaters in pursuit of the ultimate adventure in hunting and fishing. Join Team UOA every week for exciting action in the crosshairs of the outdoors. Catch Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and make sure to follow Team UOA on Facebook and Instagram to share in the ultimate outdoor adventure.
This is Beck. First, I appreciate all of you for listening and making The Bend part of your week. Many of you have asked, how do I catch past episodes? The answer is super easy. Head to thebendshow.com and click on the shows tab. There you can listen to every episode all the way back to episode 1. Podcasters, head to your favorite podcasting app and search The Bend. You'll find us. Be sure to follow and subscribe and never miss another episode again. Welcome back to The Bend Show, your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle. First off, thoughts and prayers to all of you that have been affected by weather-related incidents as of late, and especially those of you from Texas. Know that you are in our prayers, which brings up being weather aware. I know we've talked about this in other episodes, so I'm bringing it up again. Weather aware. We have had our share up here in the north with tornadoes and bad weather where we are at. And we've realized that one of the items we have yet to purchase, and we really need to, is a weather band radio. So let me help you out. What is a weather radio? Why do you need one? Because it receives weather forecasts, warnings, and other emergency information from the NOAA, known as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. You don't have to have a license to operate one, but they primarily are designed for receiving weather information, often with specific alert functions for severe weather. I've seen them also looking into them where they actually send out the the warning that your National Weather Service will put out in that area. A lot of times they'll have a 9-second beep that lets you know that this is happening and that you need to be alerted or you have become alerted.
But they're not like a walkie-talkie. You don't communicate between two of them.
No.
And they're not like a ham radio either because you need a license to operate a ham radio.
They're nothing like that at all. Just think of an AM/FM radio from back in the day, which actually most of these are AM/FM capable. So
it's
you're
like
able
a little transistor radio with the antenna that pulled up. Boy, did we date ourselves.
That's exactly right, though. They do. They come with an antenna that you pull out so that you are more likely, if you are in an area where, say, your cell phone is not working or you're not allowed to have your phone, you have this radio that will go off when the National Weather Service sends out an SOS, an alert. It will, that 9-second beep that just grabs your attention. This radio will do that. So, for example, Tigger and I, just the other week, we were doing some tent camping, and in the middle of the night, it hit us at 1:32 a.m. in the morning, high winds. We were trying to hold down the tent the best that we could. Honestly, after looking back and seeing what the weather report was, we should have abandoned ship and let it go.
100% we should have. And we were in an area at that campsite, like a lot are, that you don't get a very good cell phone signal. And we were trying to see the radar to see this coming in and monitor it. Like, should we, abandon ship and get out of here? What should we do? And with a weather radio, you don't have to worry about that in terms of trying to get on your phone and see the radar if you're in a bad signal location.
Exactly. And the other thing about these radios, they've come a long ways, is that they can be charged by either the old school method of a turn crank, but they also can charge with solar power. And then most of them have a USB port to charge your cell phone as well. So just think about adding one to your arsenal. We're going to be getting actually two of them, one so it stays with our camping gear and the other one that stays in our house. And if you're wondering how expensive they are, they're very inexpensive. Basic models are available for under $20. The more the bells and whistles, of course, going to cost you a little bit more, but you can get a very good one for under $50.
I was going to say $50. Hey, the other one that I wanted to bring up when you said charging your phone, I bought one of these for you for Christmas, and we finally had the chance to use it here just this last weekend, and that was a solar cell phone charger, and it was awesome. And I bought that from Amazon for $20.
Yes, the solar cell phone charger. That was a game changer, actually, with us being out where we were, because we were boondocking. So, of course, we had zero power. And I couldn't get over how fast it charged our phones.
You can charge them from home so that it has a full charge, and then you put them out in the sun and it just automatically charges itself and your cell phones at the exact same time.
Lastly, if you have a family, I recommend adding Life 360 to your cell phones. It's designed for family and friends to stay connected and coordinate with each other, primarily through location sharing and safety features. But what I like the most about this is that you receive notifications when people have, say, arrived or left designated places, or they can even detect car crashes. That's why I'm recommending Life 360.
And it's an app, right?
An app, and
It's
it's
an app.
available for iPhone or for Samsung Androids. This app aims to provide peace of mind and assist in emergency situations. Just a few gadgets from the gear bag that we thought everyone could use. We're going to call this show wrapped for this week, folks. Remember, keep sending us in any questions you might have or something spot-worthy we need to share. That phone number you can call or text anytime is 305-900-2363. Again, 305-900-2363. Or you can always email bendradioshow@gmail.com. And if you missed part of this show or want to hear past episodes, you can find them all on our website, thebendshow.com. And be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and to The Ben Show YouTube channel. Finally, a big thanks to all of you listeners that came along. And whether you're coming or going today, stay with us as we ranch it up. And remember to keep up with me, Beck, all week long by following The Ben on Facebook and on Instagram at The Ben Show. This is Rebecca Wanner. Catch Beck if you can next week on The Ben.